6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, to take a look at the headlines. The President says Trincomalee will be developed as an economic centre. The special train service for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Miyantale ends today. A program to create 100,000 entrepreneurs from migrant workers. The 100th birth anniversary of late President R. Premadasa will be commemorated today. All temporary employees of the local government institutions will be made permanent from the 29th of this month. In news overseas, Israeli strikes on Gaza City killed at least 38 people. And in sports news, India nears the T20 World Cup semi-finals with 50 runs victory over Bangladesh. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the government has taken measures to uplift several tourism industries in the eastern province. Tourism movement will be developed from Vergalaru to Argambe. He also stated that plans have been made to develop the education sector and the livestock field in the area. He made these remarks at a ceremony held yesterday to provide land deeds under the National Urumaya program in Batticaloa. It is hoped to develop Trincomalee as an economic centre. The assistance of the Indian government is expected in this regard. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has symbolically distributed freehold deeds to 192 individuals from 13 division secretariat divisions in the Batticaloa district out of 27,595 qualified families under the Urumaya Freehold Deeds Program. The Urumaya National Program is expected to grant 2 million freehold land deeds to people across the island. The President also instructed the officials to explain the hold-ups in the renovation of the Zion Church in Batticaloa, which was damaged due to the Easter Sunday bomb attacks. When the President visited the church yesterday, he ordered immediate assistance from Sri Lanka Army to complete the repairs swiftly. A program to create 100,000 entrepreneurs from migrant workers has begun. Minister Manusha Nanayakara said that this program will be implemented until the 7th of next month. This program will be implemented with the participation of the migrant workers who arrive in the island to be with their family members. He made these remarks at the Jayagama Sri Lanka program held in Ampara. Several programs have been implemented for the welfare of the families of the migrant workers. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the special train service deployed for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Miyantale ends today. He said that he hopes to provide the same service if sponsors come forward on the other days as well. The Dharma Rashmi Homagama Pozon Zone, annually held to coincide with the Pozon Poya, will end today. This was inaugurated under the patronage of Prime Minister on Friday. This time, the Dharma Rashmi Pozon Zone spans 13 kilometers covering Diagama, Pitipana, Dampe, Meegoda, Godagama, Panagoda and Homagama. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The 100th birth anniversary of late President R. Premadasa falls today. President Premadasa was born on the 23rd of June 1924 in Kesalvatha. He had his primary education at Harvard Methodist Girls' School and St. Lawrence's College and his secondary education at St. Joseph's College. President Premadasa started his political career in the year 1946, joining the Labour Party as a full-time member. He was elected as the president of the Youth League of the same party in the year 1949. In 1950, he contested the Colombo Municipal Council Ward St. Sebastian's and won the seat and became a member of the Colombo Municipal Council. He was again re-elected in 1954 and in 1955 he became the deputy mayor. In 1977 July, when the UMP won 141 seats out of 168, President Premadasa was re-elected as the first MP for the Colombo Central with 94,128 votes. He was appointed as the Minister of Local Government, Housing and Construction, as well as the Leader of the House. In 1978, when J.R. Jayawardena became the President, Premadasa was appointed as the Prime Minister, the position which he held from 1978 to 1988. In 1988, after more than 4 decades of active politics, Premadasa became the Executive President. He was a dedicated politician with a positive vision and a mission for Sri Lanka. To mark the 100th birth anniversary, a floral tribute will be offered at the R. Premadasa appointment at the House Top area in Kesalvatha this morning. Madam Hema Premadasa and the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa will take part in this ceremony. State Minister Janaka Vakkumbara says that all temporary employees of the local government institutions will be made permanent from the 29th of this month. Distribution of letters of appointment to such employees in the Ratnapura district will be held under the patronage of the Prime Minister today. Distribution of appointment letters to such employees in the Colombo district is scheduled to be held on the 1st of next month at Temple Trees. State Minister Janaka Vakkumbara says that about 8,500 such employees island-wide will have permanent appointments under this move. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The President says Trincomalee will be developed as an economic centre. The special train service for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Miyantale ends today. A program to create 100,000 entrepreneurs from migrant workers. The 100th birth anniversary of late President Premadasa will be commemorated today. All temporary local government institutions will be made permanent from the 29th of this month. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
The main news story for this morning, State Minister of Finance Ranjit Semalapiti emphasizes that the proposed imputed rental income tax will only be implemented after the first quarter of 2025. Speaking to the media, the State Minister said that 90% of the country's population will benefit through this tax. It is expected to be introduced after the first quarter of 2025. The wealthier segment of our society will be subject to this tax. 90% of the population will benefit through this tax, Minister Semalapiti claimed. He further explained that this tax will allow a reduction in the indirect taxes that the majority of public currently pay. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
In Watchlight this morning, the World Health Organization has directed Sri Lanka to go on alert in the wake of the recent detection of avian influenza or bird flu in humans in neighboring countries like India. Bird flu or avian influenza is an infectious disease caused by influenza viruses that primarily affect birds and that can also infect other animals and humans. The disease can be caused by various strains of influenza viruses, with the H5 subtype being one of the most significant due to its potential cause severe outbreaks. Consultant virologist at the Medical Research Institute, Dr. Jude Jamar, says that the birds shed the virus and consequently people or animals with close unprotected contact with the infected birds. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news: Israeli strikes on Gaza City killed at least 38 people. Russia launches massive attack on Ukrainian power grid. Bangladesh reels from surge in snake bites. Those were the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. 2 Israeli airstrikes on buildings in Gaza City have killed at least 38 people and injured many more. Hamas says that Israeli military said that warplanes had struck Hamas military infrastructure sites, and it would provide more details later. A spokesman for the Gaza Civil Defense said a residential block in the Al-Shati area in one of Gaza's historic refugee camps was hit several times. The other strike targeted houses in Al-Tafa district, the Hamas-run government media office said. Footage showed people carrying away the wounded and searching for survivors in the wreckage as dust filled the streets. Ukrainian energy facilities have come under massive attack from Russia in the latest onslaught targeting the country's power grid, officials say. It is the 8th time Russia has launched an attack on energy infrastructure facilities in the past 3 months, Ukraine's energy ministry said. Air defense systems shot down 12 of 16 missiles and all 13 drones launched by Russia at several regions through the night, the Ukrainian Air Force said. Later yesterday, officials in Kharkiv in northeastern Ukraine said 3 people were killed and at least 18 injured by Russian-guided bombs, with at least 4 explosions heard in the city. All health centers and hospitals in Bangladesh have been ordered to stock anti-venom after reports of surge in snake bites across the country. Health Minister Dr. Samanthalal Sen also urged the public to bring snake bite victims to hospitals as soon as possible. Hospitals in rural Bangladesh have reported an increase in people being bitten by snakes, especially by the Russell's viper, which is found in South Asia. The incidents have been major topic on Bangladeshi social media in the recent weeks. And that was the world news.
Development news.
Construction of the new 4-story pediatric ward complex in Maharagama Apeksha Hospital is nearing completion. This project is being funded by the Ruhunu Mahakatargama Devalaya with labour provided by Sri Lanka Air Force. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
India powered their way closer to the T20 World Cup semi-finals with a commanding 50-run victory over Bangladesh. India posted a formidable total of 196 for 5 after being put into bat by Bangladesh. In response, Bangladesh faced an uphill battle from the onset with Linton Das and Tanzid Hassan providing brief resistance. However, regular wickets hampered their progress with Kuldeep Yadav and Jasprit Bumrah dismantling the middle order. Ultimately, Bangladesh fell short, managing only 146 for the loss of 8 in the allotted overs, handing India the 5th consecutive victory in the tournament. The win not only solidifies India's position in the top of the Super 8's table, but also underscores their status as a strong contender for the T20 World Cup title. And that came to you in the segment of sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka is currently exploring the establishment of a development bank, a move that would facilitate the required funding to help improve the competitive capabilities of industries, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said. He assured the new bank aims to maintain low interest rates. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, Sri Lanka's economy showed significant growth more than the anticipated in the first quarter, marking a strong recovery from a severe foreign exchange crisis. While the 5.3% expansion in January-March marked an increase from the previous 3 months and was a huge improvement on the 10% contraction in the same quarter last year, the industrial sector has also indicated a sharp recovery with an expansion of 11.8% in the first quarter, according to State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siamlapitia. That was the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara and Puttalam districts. Several spells of light showers will occur in the northwestern province and in the Matale and Anuradhapura districts. Strong winds about 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Monragala districts. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The President says Trincomalee will be developed as an economic centre. The special train service for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Mihintale ends today. A program to create 100,000 entrepreneurs from the migrant workers has begun. the 100th birth anniversary of late President R. Premadasa will be commemorated today. All temporary employees of the local government institutions will be made permanent from the 29th of this month. In news overseas, Israeli strikes on Gaza City killed at least 38 people. And in sports news, India nears to the T20 World Cup semi-finals with 50-run victory over Bangladesh. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your regular Sunday morning host and my good friend Abhishek to brighten up your day.